I have been absolutely amazed by Adobe Lightroom and Camera Raw's AI denoise function at the raw level. It's absolutely amazing. Now, I know I said AI here, and I know what people are going to do. Well, Blake, last video, you said this about AI. Well, in the last video, I wasn't necessarily talking about AI. I was talking about the integrity of individuals using AI-generated images, which to me is very different than using AI for image enhancement. In my creative workflow, I'm an artist. I will use any tool possible that will help me overcome creative boundaries and barriers. And noise reduction is one of those great things that we can use AI or artificial intelligence as a utility for. So we're going to take a look at the AI denoise feature in Adobe Camera Raw. Now, the other day, my wife says, hey, babe, you should probably go down to the garden and check out these swallowtail butterfly caterpillars that are out there on the parsley. So I ran down there, I looked at them, was like, oh my gosh. Ran back inside, grabbed my 90mm macro lens on my Sony A1 and went to town. I was probably out there for about an hour just photographing these fat little guys. Take a look at these beautiful images. While photographing these guys, other than being pretty beautiful on their backdrops like this, I got to see kind of how they eat, what they do, and as they tear up my entire parsley. It was interesting, as I was photographing these guys, something came by this one, and these things came out of its head, and this foul secretion came out. I learned quite a bit while I was also photographing these because I Googled it. That's their defense mechanism. This one is probably my favorite. This little aphid walks up and is like, hey, what's up, buddy? He's like, can I touch you? Boop, gonna do it anyway. Made for a great shot. Now let's talk about my macro setup real quick. I like to shoot handheld just like this. Sometimes I'll have an LED light that I can move with my left hand or have that tripod mounted, but my camera itself, I don't really like to be tripod mounted. I like to be able to move and rotate my camera up and around the object. So what I typically do is have my focus set to manual, and I have my lens pegged at the 1:1 or the closest setting. Not the furthest away like I typically am over here for landscape photography, okay? All the way here, and then I use my body as the way that I focus the camera, and then I shoot really quickly. So for me, fast shutter speeds are imperative for my macro work. Well, in order to get fast shutter speeds, what do I need to do? Increase the ISO. So in the past, I typically wouldn't go too far beyond ISO 2000 because I knew that I could use my own noise reduction skills to reduce my images and not have too much of a problem and still get a great macro shot from that. But that's old school thinking. That's old school thinking for two reasons, because camera sensors have gotten so much better, especially the Sony A1, and now we have this AI noise feature. So after processing these images, I had this thought: how high can I take my ISO? Dun, dun, dun. So for this, I grabbed a tripod and one of those nifty lights, and I set it up in my garden, and I made sure that my focal point was always the same, or relatively close to being the same. In the morning, these guys do move, but not very much. It's usually just the blowing of the wind. So if the focal point is off, it's off because of some slight movement that happened with the object and not necessarily with my camera. I had this set to a 2-second timer, and I went from ISO 800 to ISO 102,000. Whoa, never in my life would I have ever gone to ISO 102,000. Now at ISO 800, I'm going to zoom in here and show you that I still think that this is acceptable with minimal or almost no noise reduction at all on the Sony A1. It's beautiful at ISO 800. It isn't until we start to get to something like ISO 3200 that I start to notice that, okay, we are going to need to do some noise reduction here. Even at ISO 1600, I might want to consider doing some noise reduction. Would I use AI noise reduction for this? Maybe, maybe not. I might just do manual noise reduction for this. But for images that are 3200 and above, I'm definitely going to need some help with my noise reduction technique. So I'm going to even in the details section here. And if I move the noise reduction up like this, you can see that once we get to this point, the noise reduction becomes unacceptable. Okay, when I release that, I want you to see the problem here. I'm reducing the noise over here to try and get this noise reduced, but then I look at the object, and the sacrifice that I have to make is going to be in the detail in the object. So as I move this down, you see we have wonderful detail here. That detail and that noise are basically looking like the same thing to our traditional noise reduction that we have in Adobe Camera Raw and Lightroom. But this is where the AI noise reduction feature comes in, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to pop this on. I'm just going to press this denoise. We're at ISO 3200 right now. Now, once we are in the noise reduction feature here, whatever I had my noise reduction set to in the past is what the noise reduction is going to be now. So I was previously at 44, but let's go ahead. I don't want to put my noise reduction right here because that's really not going to be a helpful space for me. I want to put it on something that has detail. So if I reduce the noise in this image by 44, what's happening to the detail in my subject? I really don't care about what's happening outside the subject, to be quite honest, because I can use a plethora of other tools to reduce that noise and then mask it later in Photoshop. My primary concern is the object that I want to be in the best focus while not losing detail. Okay. I think a lot of times people say, well, I just want to reduce everything because I love what's happening over here in the background. But what are you losing in the process? See, excessive noise reduction leads to like this oil paint plastic looking photo. And that's not what we want because noise also produces detail. Now, I know I'm going to get yelled at for this one because the last time I talked about color noise in one of my videos, geez, you should see the people that yelled at me. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and increase this just a little bit to about 40. And then I'm going to press enhance. All right, so as if by magic, we have our noise reduced image with AI noise reduction, and we have our regular raw file right above it. Now, if this is grayed out for you, why is this grayed out right now? Okay, it's grayed out because this is the DNG file. This will also be grayed out if it's a JPEG. It'll also be grayed out if it's a TIFF file. It will be grayed out if it is anything but your camera manufacturer's RAW file. So if your workflow is to turn your images into DNG files on import, you might not want to do that when it comes to using this AI noise reduction feature, because it's only going to work on your camera's specific RAW file. So what that means is you cannot use this in Adobe Camera Raw as a filter. You can't use this on a JPEG. You can't use this on a DNG. You can't use it on a TIFF. Get it? Where can you use it? Only your camera's specific RAW file. Okay, I'm gonna get a question about that, and someone's like, "Well, it's because you didn't pay attention." This is grayed out, Blake. Oh yeah, it's because you didn't pay attention. I told you exactly where you couldn't use it. All right, let's take a look. Now we did kind of get a plasticky feel for this image. We have lost quite a bit of detail, but it's not huge. I think that this is still workable. And honestly, we probably went a little aggressive on the noise reduction in the AI denoise. So when I'll press this again, that was set to 40. Let's bring that down to about 25 for this image and just press enhance. All right, so this is at 25. We'll zoom in here. I think at 25, we have a good balance of the noise reduction with detail. But at something like 45 or 50, that would have been too high. Now, the reason why I'm most concerned with the object is because this is the thing that I want to be perfect. This is where I want the detail. This is where I want the sharpness. I don't want to reduce too much noise here because then my subject gets all plasticky and oil painty looking and it doesn't look right. So what I know is that if I need to reduce this noise further, I'll probably do that in Photoshop using masking and some of my other techniques for reducing noise in Photoshop so that I can do this very specifically just for the background and not necessarily for the caterpillar. So this is an acceptable noise reduction. It's a beautiful noise reduction actually for this caterpillar, and I'm at ISO 3200. Let's go ahead and zoom on down. I'm just going to go really far down here and see what happens at ISO 8000. ISO 8000, you can start to see where we get this loss of detail in the subject because of the amount of noise. And this is where you have to play that balancing act. How far can I take my ISO while still getting the detail in the object so that I can have my shutter speed be as fast as I might need it to be to take the shot that I need to take? Okay, there's a lot of things you need to balance when you're doing macro photography. At ISO 8000, is this going to be acceptable for me? I don't know. Let's try denoise and see. Well, with this image, I think we're going to have to reduce our noise a little bit more because it's an ISO 8000 image. So let's go up a little bit more. This thing only asks you one question. How much noise reduction do you want? And then you just have to answer it. I want this much noise reduction. If you click and hold and move it around, you can even experiment with that. So let's go to 36 on the amount, press OK and enhance and see what that gives us. All right. So an ISO 8000 image with 36 set as my noise reduction, this is great noise reduction. Actually, the only thing that you're seeing here that really is looking kind of bad is the sharpening. So if I move the sharpening down, it's actually looking pretty acceptable. I could definitely use an ISO 8000 image in my macro photography. That's great for me to know, because in the past, I typically would be afraid to go past ISO 2000. You see why this experiment is so important, not just for macro photography, for you as a photographer in any situation where you're going to need a higher ISO. Macro just happens to be the best example of that. Now, if I wanted to play a balancing game here of using the noise reduction feature beyond the AI noise reduction and the sharpening, I could do that even at the raw level here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more so I see the detail in my caterpillar and also see the background here. So I'm going to reduce the noise just a little bit more using manual noise reduction. And you can see if we take this really far, you can really see that we can even reduce this even more now because we've already done the AI noise reduction. So this ISO 8000 image basically became like an ISO 1000 image after the enhancement. And now I can further reduce that noise to make it work even better for me. I'm going to move the detail down just a little bit and then bring the color noise up, because that's typically where I see a big problem here is in the color noise. And that is actually still very acceptable for me. So now let's get into sharpening of this object. So when I go to sharpen this, I can actually predict where the sharpening is going to happen. If you move this up, you just think, oh, I'm just sharpening this, right? And it's pretty sharp. It looks pretty good, but you're sharpening the entire image. So how do you mask your sharpening? Well, if you have this arrow and it's clicked this way, the only thing you get here is sharpening. Well, open this up, because this is where the amazing stuff happens. If you use this masking feature here and you move it over, you might not think anything is happening. What do I need to do here? Well, let me zoom out here so you can see it. If I want to see where the masking is happening on my image, if I press Alt or Option and click and move this over, you're going to start to see what looks like a hand-drawn version of my caterpillar. Almost like Sharpie, right? Well, the black areas are not receiving any sharpening, and the white areas into the gray areas are receiving that sharpening. Therefore, I can really dial in how to get this ISO 8000 image to almost look like my original ISO 800 image. Look at that, with no noise reduction. That is wild. That is wild. I'm blown away. Like I said, I told you at the beginning of this that I'm blown away by this feature, and I'm not joking. I am literally blown away by this. Here's our ISO 8000 that looked very similar to our ISO 800 image after using a combination of my noise reduction plus the AI noise reduction. Okay, so let's take this a little bit further. How far can we go? Well, I've already kind of done this on some of these images. This is an ISO 25600 image, and look at that noise reduction. Still very acceptable. Now, I've lost quite a bit of detail. You have to understand we're at ISO 25600. Okay, I still have lost a significant amount of detail in the process. That's only because the image that was originally captured had so much noise that it also was starting to deteriorate the detail in the image. So there's only so much I can do, but if I needed to, I could still go to an incredibly high ISO and get very good results with this denoise. I think where it really starts to break down is that honestly about at this point. So let me go down just for fun and show you the ISO 102,000 image. This, you know, this looks like someone who shot an image way underexposed and tried to bring up the exposure, especially in the dark areas, which then introduced all this noise. Not good straight out of camera, but what does it look like with some noise reduction? Holy crap, that's actually pretty good. Is it amazing? Not necessarily, because I've lost a lot of the detail in this and it is starting to look a little bit plasticky. But even at ISO 102,000, this AI noise reduction feature did a wonderful job to help me with that noise. And if you don't believe that, let me try to reduce this noise rather quickly using just the manual tools without using anything but the manual tools. I mean, I can't get it. I can't, unless I go way up here, maybe. No, that destroys it to oblivion. I just can't reduce the noise to a point where it looks like this, which it still has some detail. Obviously, we're going to lose some. We're at ISO 102,000. We got to give this software and my camera a break a little bit here. We were at some very high ISOs for these images here. Especially this one, ISO 64,000, still not really that acceptable, but actually not really that bad at the same time. Look at that, that's pretty good. And that's with very minimal sharpening, even without going into Photoshop and sharpening it myself. So what do I conclude from this? I conclude from this that One, I needed to do this experiment for myself, not just for my macro images, but for any images where I'm going to take my ISO to places that I am afraid to take them to. What else did I learn from this? AI noise reduction in Adobe Camera Raw and Lightroom is fantastic. It works much different than regular noise reduction, as it takes into account the detail, tries to save that detail while it's also doing the noise reduction. At least that's what I see happening in the background. What else do I see here? I see that I can do the AI noise reduction, and if I need a little bit more, I can also do my own noise reduction manually and even add some sharpening there. If you haven't done this experiment yet, I think that this is a mandatory experiment for you. As I said, get a tripod, go anywhere. Have the same focal point throughout, the same aperture throughout. So you basically set yourself in aperture priority mode, find a focal point, lock it in, and then work through all of your ISOs from your lowest all the way to your highest. Drag all of them into Adobe Camera Raw, analyze the noise profile from all of them, and then see what AI noise reduction can do for you. Find a place that you're comfortable with and happy with, and that's going to be different for everybody. Again, we're trying to avoid fake plasticky noise. We need that detail for that noise. And if you reduce the noise completely, well, then we don't really have any grain for our data to stick to. So it's a good idea to have a little bit of noise there still, so you can retain that detail and it doesn't look fake. I've learned that I'm actually comfortable now with ISO 8000. Maybe I should put a sticky note in my bag that says get comfortable with ISO 8000, because that will help me in many categories of my photography, from landscape photography to interior architecture, where I shoot a lot handheld, and even some of my Milky Way photography. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. I do sincerely appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. I like to take difficult things in Photoshop, make them seemingly simple so you can use them in your workflow today.